What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Tidal Gardens. During my last YouTube live show, I got a pretty interesting question. It involved the allocation of gallons between a show tank and the sump. So I think the question was posed if you had like 60 gallons to work with. Would it be better just to have a 60-gallon tank like a 24 cube, which is kind of like that ideal 60-gallon aquarium? Or would it be better to have a 40-gallon tank, maybe like a 40-gallon breeder, and a 20-gallon sump? So the thinking there is, would it be better to allocate more of that water volume to your actual display show tank and deal with any of like the quibbles of having in-tank filtration, hang on back filtration, all your temperature management and everything like that is now in tank, things of that sort. That got me thinking a little bit about just the allocation of space in general for our systems. And when posed with that question live, I was thinking, you know what? I would rather have like a 10-gallon display tank and a 50-gallon sump because my mindset is always about infrastructure. How much time do you really spend with your tank, and where do you spend your time with your tank? What I have noticed is that the majority of the time that I spend in and around aquariums, it is always on the maintenance end of things. And true, there is some stuff that has to go on in the aquarium, but once an aquarium gets established, it really is just every other day scraping the glass sort of things. You're not doing a lot of like reconstructive surgery on the aquascape itself. Occasional coral falls, whatever. But the bulk of the time that's really spent with a reef aquarium, it's going to be on the maintenance end of your equipment. It's going to be changing out filter socks, cleaning skimmer cups, that sort of thing. And with that in mind, I would want more gallons just to make a lot of that stuff easier to get to. I fully appreciate some like size and space constraints. We do it here as well. We have something like some 70-gallon cube tanks, and we have a smaller sump right underneath. We did that so that it maintains a small footprint. I get it. I think a lot of people are in that same ballpark. But as far as like if I had like a single aquarium, I would want to have a wide open sump area so that pretty much any and all maintenance can be done without the worry of having like a stand and a tank right above it, having like easy access to all the different pieces of equipment, things like that. The nice thing about having a really large sump is that you can grow into it, and it also allows you to evolve your experience in the hobby. For instance, there might be some future tech, some future devices that you want to experiment with. And if you're kind of space constrained as far as your utility goes, you might not be able to dabble with some of these things. Some of these things may not work out in the end, but there is that intellectual curiosity that many of us find with this hobby. It's like we want to try to get better. We want to embrace new things that could be better for our tank inhabitants. And when you simply don't have a lot of room to work with, it kind of takes those things off the menu entirely. And for me anyways, that diminishes my enjoyment of the hobby because I'm not able to experiment like I would like to. The other thing that I think is really underrated in this hobby is not just the size of the sump, but it's the size of the area around the sump. Oftentimes, when I'm planning out even my oversized sumps, I don't really consider anything outside of the footprint of that sump. That is a mistake because there are lots of things that don't go physically into your sump. There's things like reactors, calcium reactors, different types of media reactors. There are containers just to hold your two part, all these little things. Just helpful tools like having your refractometer or hydrometer right there ready to go. Like things like that. And just these aren't things that go inside your sump like a protein skimmer might. These are some space consuming items that really should be in and around that sump. So, in addition to having that oversized sump, I would like to have an oversized area for a lot of these ancillary devices as well. So, yeah, it was kind of a question that was just thrown out there, but it was good food for thought. I'll end with one little anecdote. One of my friends in town, his name's Will. He has like something in the neighborhood of like a 220-gallon custom aquarium, and it faces into his living room. It's like an in-wall setup. And the way that he described it is that the portion that faces into the living room, it's like that's for everybody else. What's for me is the back room. And there he has set up his sump. Like he has racking systems to hold all of his different reef aquarium supplies and everything of that sort. Because, yeah, realistically, that's where he spends all of his time. He spends almost no time in the living room enjoying the tank from that vantage point. It's everything is on the utility side of things. So, anyways, guys, that had me thinking a little bit. Let me know what you think about your future aquarium designs and how much space you would allocate to your facilities and utilities versus the show tank. That's it from here. Until next time, happy reefing.